So now what's interesting about now going from here to Indian clubs should really, in my opinion, be called English clubs, because they were invented during the British Raj in India. Now you have to also consider that in those days there were no flights, so everybody traveled overland. At the beginning of sort of, the start of electricity and stuff, there were telegraph lines built from India to England, and that would have gone, in some cases, some of them would have gone through Persia. So I mean, you've got this sort of like people traveling backwards and forwards. So that's why I'm saying the fusion, because there was a shared border, there was a fusion there, which is very difficult to unpick, although there are specific differences between the two. Anyway, so now let's get on to, so now you've got this concept of around about the 1830s, the British are in India and they see the Indians incredibly fit. I mean, the military, police, and so on, the wrestlers, all training with this equipment. So they, inspired by this, they're thinking of, and I've never ever found the possible originator of this. But anyway, it was the military that decided that the concept of this, the club coming down, striking somebody, or uppercut, so it's coming up from below. You could do this with something that represented a sword, hence the Indian club. Now, I have a friend of mine who is a swordsman in California, who actually showed me a type of sword that would have been used by the British military in those days. And I held both the sword and an Indian club in the other hand. And the similarity in handling is identical. So that even strengthens my theory more. So consequently, if you consider that all the swords that would have gone out to India would have been made in the UK, shipped out to India. If the swords are used in practice, they would be used and probably damaged and broken and so on. So I mean, it was an expensive exercise, whereas they could train without non-contact, train the military and keep them moving, got the men using their shoulders, building their upper bodies basically with thoracic turns and all the rest of it. And they trained this is how they trained the military. The British, when they were in India, also had other problems which were disease, like for instance malaria, diarrhea, and all sorts of other things. And when they first went there, because of the heat and the humidity, the military was very sedentary. And the doctors at the time said, yeah, let's move them, let's make them exercise. Sadly, there's a very sad note to this, that in India at the same time, the British conscripted local Indians into the military. And they made the Indians train with clubs that were a lot heavier than the white guys used. And it was a bit of a persecution type of thing. It's really sort of, there's nasty overtones there. So yeah, so I mean that's basically how the Indian clubs came into being, the lighter weight ones.